Alright, a new box came out, which means that we have some new spicy crazy decks to talk about. First up, we have a Chronomaly deck. This one got top 32 in the meta frequently. Now, Chronomalies have a few different skills that came out that were pretty good, but we're using the Gateway to Another Dimension skill. It has a couple restrictions though. We have to have at least 12 Chronomalies in the main deck, and our extra deck can only have Chronomalies and light number monsters. So it does restrict us, however, the effect is really good. You can send any monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and all the monsters on your side of the board will get that level. So you can send a Dyson Sphere to the graveyard, all your monsters become level 9, you can actually make Dyson Sphere with this deck really easily, as well as the new Chateau Hyatt card that came out with it, Force Focus, Patriarch is also a card you can go into, which is good against Harpy Lady, so we have a few different options here. And we don't really need a consistency skill in the same way that Onomatsu, because we have so many searches with this deck. Normal summon Nebra Disc, you can search your deck for any Chronomaly card, including the field spell. Also, the Skull, which you discard itself from the hand to search your deck for another Chronomaly monster. So we have multiple ways to search through this deck to get what we need. We also have the Headstone Moe monster here, which lets you special summon itself to the board whenever you have a Chronomaly out. We can also special summon the Guardian to the board whenever we have the field spell out, which is really easy to get, again, with the Nebra Disc being able to search for it. Crystal Bones lets you special summon itself to the board similar to Cyber Dragon, and then you can bring back a Chronomaly from your graveyard or from your hand to the field with it as well. So multiple ways to special summon your Chronomalies to the board, get several out there, go for the XYZ plays. Also, your Paleozoic Canadias, when they come back, you can use the skill to make them whatever level you need to, also to go into XYZ summons. So just another really useful thing you can do with them, make them extremely useful after they come back to the board and not just, 1200 beaters. So yeah, this deck can actually do some really cool things. It's not like a huge meta game breaking deck, but Chronomalies are definitely a king game worthy deck, and they seem pretty fun. So looking forward to seeing how far people can take this deck over the next few months. Next up, we have a Dark World deck. Now, this was from Saggy. Now, we should have had King Games within the first 24 hours if it weren't for Konami's buggy servers. However, though, nonetheless, this is still an extremely competent deck, though, despite the fact that it's just so expensive and difficult to get. But yeah, Dark Worlds are actually pretty terrifying if they go second. Graphic very easily lets them destroy 2 or 3 cards on their first turn. They can then easily swarm the board and hit you with over 4, 5, 6,000 points of damage. So they can be extremely terrifying going second. Extremely competent OTK deck, able to dig through half their deck with the field spell and the Dark World dealings, constantly drawing whatever they need, Snow searching for whatever Dark World monster they need to further their combos. This deck can be extremely scary going second. Going first, you can still even do some things. Book of Moon can be set, you can dig through for them. Zombie Stein and Sealstorm Roach is really effective against certain decks, so you do have some turn 1 plays here. But yeah, this deck is actually pretty competent. It can actually do some really nasty things going second, and it's a lot of fun to play. I know it's expensive as hell, but this deck is a lot of fun to play. So if you do happen to have Dark Worlds, you haven't tried them out, you definitely should, because this deck is really fun. I love drawing through the deck, and Saggy is doing a hell of a job with Dark Worlds. Probably the best one in the game that I've seen so far with it. So, alright, next up we have Luke Tyler. He hit King of Games with this deck. Now, one of the things I don't think got talked about enough in the last few days is the fact that Beautiful Princess, we got a second copy of it. And that came with the XYZ world update, where all those Zexal characters got an extra few levels added to them. If you level up Shark, you can unlock her. And this is actually really important for a lot of for not just fish deck, but for a number of different decks that can utilize her. But here it's really nice because we now have 5 ways to get the Buzzsaw Shark. 3 Shark plus 2 Princess. 5 ways to open up with the Shark in our opening hands. For those 1 card XYZ plays, also able to get double fin to the board. Give ourselves targets for the Fish Death Charge. Allow us to recycle with the Fight Fish Salvage. The fish decks are just great at grinding those really long games. Constantly be able to just recur those resources like crazy. Dig through the deck with the Fish Death Charge. And also we have another little trick that we're using here with Silent as Water as the skill. Anytime our life points go down by 1,000, we can activate it, get a field spell on the board, which gives all of our fish and water monsters 500 attack points, which includes the Canadias, which are now going to have 1,700 attack points. So your Canadias aren't just going to be, low little 1,200, 1,700 plus all your XYZ monsters are going to get boosted up, all your Buzzsaw, your Shark monsters, your fish monsters are going to have 500 attack points. Which is just really powerful to be able to just swing through in those really long drawn out games. Also, we don't have any restrictions with our extra deck like we do with like the Shark skill, so we can actually run a Malevolent Sin in the extra deck as well, also to help just finish out this game, because sometimes Fish has trouble closing out games, and having that Malevolent Sin option in the extra deck really does help close out certain games as well. So this is one of those other decks that just came out, or I wouldn't say came out recently, but just got support recently, that I think has been overlooked a little bit, that I'm excited to have some fun with. Just put it together, and I'm coming out with a video in a couple days on it. Another deck that came out recently but just got support with the new box is Gimmick Puppets. So we got a couple of things here. So first off, we got the Junk Puppet card, which is basically just a monster reborn for the deck. Target a Gimmick Puppet in your grave, bring it back to the board. So a monster reborn in the deck, that's awesome. Also got a Condolence Puppet. This is basically a Foolish Burial from the deck. Send a Gimmick Puppet from your deck to the grave, and for every monster on your opponent's board that was special summoned from the extra deck, you get an extra monster you get to send to the graveyard. So that lets you flood your graveyard for your Druid Dolls, set it up for Terror Baby, whatever you need. Also, you can banish your Condolence Puppet from the graveyard to protect your Gimmick Puppet monsters for the turn from being destroyed from your opponent's card's effect, which is just extremely powerful to have that extra little bonus there. So, Monster Reborn, a Foolish Burial with extra effects on it. Pretty nice cards that the Gimmick Puppet deck got with this most recent update. Still not putting it into the metagame or making it like extremely competitive, at least not first bet, though. A couple people did have success with it. I saw in the most recent, I think it was a Meta Frequently and Battle Phase tournament. So, we'll see. Maybe this deck will become a little bit more relevant going forward, especially if we have a ban list that hits some of the other decks that are ahead of it right now. But besides that, usually you see like 20 or 22 cards in a Gimmick Puppet deck. This one's running 30 cards with a whole host of extra powerful things. Book of Moons, we got Chalices, Breakthrough Skill, Treacherous Trap Holes, as well as the Advanced Draws, the basically Pot of Greed for this deck. Well, not quite, but draw 2 cards with this deck, extremely powerful. So yes, a lot of really neat tricks this thing can do. And we'll have to see where Gimmick Puppet goes going forward. Alright, next up we have a deck that kind of surprised me a little when I saw the list, but this one got top 8 in the meta frequently though, Hendo Hondo. We got a couple things here that make this different than the average Lunalight deck. First off, we are running a Firefist Monsters. We have Bear and Gorilla here, which allows us to destroy monsters or back row by tripping off your Fire Formation cards. So your tankies aren't just for giving 100 attack points after you're done searching for them. You can actually use them to blow up stuff on your board with those things. Also, you can search your tankies straight from the deck and set them to the board if you manage to hit your opponent's life points directly. Sometimes people against Lunalights will play a little bit passively, not wanting to run into Saber Dancer or not wanting to get hit by Cat Dancer for game. So this will let you to put a little bit of pressure on your opponent sometimes, deal damage, get tankies, search for your Lunalight cards, start going for those fusion plays. Also, we can search for tanky. The Arcus, the Lightsworn monster here, is a Beast Warrior, so you can actually search for it with tanky and then pitch it with Solar Recharge. That's going to let you not only draw cards, but send things from your deck to your graveyard, which can trigger your Lunalight monster effects. You can actually trigger your Lunalights with the Solar Recharge going off as well. So a little added bonus there, and just a little bit extra consistency, being able to draw through your deck and get those mills. I think it's a really neat concept. And again, he managed to get top 8 in the Meta Frequently with this. So I mean, I know it's not like I know it's kind of like the meme tournament where people take decks like this, but managed to get top 8 there, and that's still something considering. Yeah, of course, Saber Dancer is always just going to be able to beat certain decks like Chronomaly and other things like that. And yeah, great job on still being able to get top 8 with this deck, though. Next up, the one that I'm most excited about, though, we got a Rescue Rabbit deck with Stone Soldier here. This is really, really cool. So we got a couple things. So first off, we have the new Gorgonic Guardian XYZ. It's a rank 3. It needs rock monsters, but when you get on the board, you can actually negate an opponent's effect on your opponent's side of the field. Once per turn, during either player's turn, detach, pick an opponent's monster, just make it 0 attack point, and negate its effect. So that's extremely powerful, especially because it's only at 1600 attack itself, so you got to protect it with back row like Phoenix Chain and Canadias and the Floodgates, as well as the enemy controllers. But we have a lot of ways to go into it, not just as Rescue Rabbit, just the one card to go into it, but we also have the Unexpected Dies, we have the Painful Decisions, so we have multiple ways to get to our normal monsters. But once the Giant Soldier of Stones are in the graveyard, we're actually running the Centrification skill. That's going to let you turn the Giant Soldier of Stones into the Century Giant Soldier of Stone, where basically the effect monster version of it, the sort of retrained version, whatever they call them, where they redid a little much about. Basically, it changes into a monster that brings itself back from the graveyard when you have a rock on your side of the board. So you can bring it back from the graveyard for free with the skill. If you get multiple ones in the graveyard, which is really easy with the rabbit, you can turn them all into that, have multiple things in your graveyard that just keep bringing it back and making free XYZ plays with. So yeah, this deck is really, really cool. I'm excited to try this one out. I really want to play this in the next few days. I'm just waiting to try to get the Soldier Stone out of the card trader because the card trader doesn't want to give it to me. I know I saw Brad and a couple others complaining about this as well. Just waiting for that card trader to give us the card we want so I can finally try this deck out. But it looks like a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, let me know in the description. What do you guys think of this deck? What do you think about the other decks? I'm going to put them all in the description as well. Links to them all so you can see the deck list on DLM. But yeah, no, a lot of exciting decks this week. Unfortunately, not a lot of meta breaking stuff though. really just waiting for Arc V to come out to be able to do that. Until then, Onomots and the metagame itself has just gotten really stale. So yeah, KC Cup coming up, and then hopefully Banless and Arc V World, and we'll see where we go from there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.